Hey guys, DanHeilman here. We are back with another Awaken Chaos Era video. Today I'm going to do another damage test for you. Today I'm going to compare Zatlux and Nathalia. I know it's not a fair comparison for single target boss damage. Actually, it may be closer than we think. We'll have to figure it out. But basically I'm just putting another 2 units on the spreadsheet. You know, I'm trying to compile a spreadsheet with a bunch of single target damage dealers and just see who really ends up hitting the hardest. So, okay, we're going to start with Nathalia. I already got the gear on her. It's the same gear I use every single time for this test, of course, because I have to keep it consistent. I'll go through it very quickly just to show you what it is again. Crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, defense percent, crit rate, attack percent main stat, health percent, crit rate, crit damage, crit rate with a little bit of health, and attack percent with crit rate, health percent, defense percent. Okay, so let's look at her stats. She's got 4,200 attack, which is fairly high, and decent health, a little bit of defense. Her speed's obviously very slow, but this is not the gear I normally run her in, so that's why that's happening. Crit rate, crit damage, etc. Her glyphs are maxed. Here's the stats of her glyphs, and her abilities are maxed. All right, first let's go through all of her skills. So her ascendancy here, basically for every positive effect this character has, their abilities affect 1 extra enemy. So that means they hit 1 extra enemy. For each positive effect, it does the same exact thing, but it also increases all damage dealt by 10%. So I need to get 1 more ascension. Mine is only single ascended, so I only get the attack percent bonus. But this next one gives 10% more damage. So that's very good there. Let's just go through all the abilities real quick. So deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants random stats up to this character for 1 turn. Random stats can be a bunch of stuff. Attack up, defense up, speed up, crit rate up, crit damage up, all that good stuff. So that's that. Her A2 is interesting. So applies attack up and immunity for 2 turns if this character is buffed by a positive effect at the start of their turn. This is why almost everyone puts her in a shield set or a guard set is what it's called in this game, because that gives her a buff always for the first 3 turns, and basically that gives her 2 more buffs, which means she has a minimum of 3 buffs on her, which means she will hit 4 targets because of this trait. So she hits really hard single target, but she actually has guaranteed AoE if you build her in a guard set. So that's why people normally do that. My normal set I have for her is in a guard set. So that's that ability there, which is pretty cool. And then her ultimate deals 180% damage to an enemy. If the enemy is killed, this ability cooldown is reset. So that makes her really good for trash waves. You can use her in adventure mode. You can use her in Ash Magisteria. She's kind of required for Ash Magisteria. So she's a great unit. I have her S tier on my tier list. One of the harder hitting units in the game. So I'm really excited to get her on the damage spreadsheet and see how she actually performs compared to other units. Okay, let's move to the dungeon and start that portion. Alright, so her ultimate ability says deals 180% damage to an enemy. If the enemy is killed, the ability cooldown is reset. Okay, so let's see how hard this hits on the boss.
Do you believe in magic?
Alright, we're going to have to count those numbers later. Okay, and her other ability, her A1 ability, deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants random stats up to this character for 1 turn. Alright, let's see how hard it hits. Okay. All right, now we will swap all that gear from Nathalia over to Zatlux, and we're going to test him. So we're going to hit confirm here. Let's go ahead and look through Zatlux's kit. And I won't go through the gear again. I just did that. But let's look through Zatlux's kit real quick. So upon defeating an enemy, resets all of this character's ability cooldowns. This is such a wild trait. So any kills he gets resets all of his cooldowns, you know. I guess he only has 1 cooldown, which is the ultimate, but yeah, anyways, still crazy. And upon defeating an enemy, also grants attack up. So when he uses his ultimate, he'll attack someone, kill them, and then he gains attack up before he goes on to the next enemy. So the ascension is kind of important, but not a game breaker. Yeah, okay. So A1 is deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants speed up to this character for 1 turn. Okay, so decent A1. The speed is not really reliable, so it is what it is, because obviously he's not going to do this until his second turn, or maybe never, because his ultimate resets on the cooldown. So you may never get this. If you do put him in a cursed set, you can get this speed up more often, but I don't know that it's that useful to put him in a cursed set. Okay, his second ability is actually a passive, grants 30% crit and 30% precision. This is really amazing. Also, this does not show up on the tooltip, so that's important to note. So you do not have to build him to 100% crit. You only need to build him to 70% crit, because this does not show up on the tooltip here. Okay, passive is very awesome. It means you can build him with a lot more crit damage and a lot more attack, because you don't need as much crit rate. The ability, the ultimate ability here, the A3, deals 200% damage to an enemy plus bonus damage. The fewer the enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage dealt. If this ability kills the target, then launches a bonus attack against the enemy with the lowest health. So this is cool. On auto, he will just attack the enemy with the lowest health first. If he kills them, he moves on to the next person. If he kills that person, he moves on to the next person. And that's why he's such a great wave clearer. Probably one of the best wave clearers in the game. So yeah, we're going to see how hard he hits on a boss. It does say, you know, he gets bonus damage if there's only one enemy, right? You know, the fewer enemies remaining. So yeah, we'll see how hard he hits on a boss. One other thing to note is his glyphs are fully maxed, and so are his abilities. And let's look at Zatlux stats here with the gear he has on. So attack is 4,000, decent amount of health, decent amount of defense, decent amount of speed actually with the attack boots, so that's cool. And high crit rate. Obviously this is way higher than you would ever build Zatlux's crit rate, but I have to use the same gear for all the units or it's not an even comparison. And 204% crit damage, and that is that. Alright, so I'll start with his ultimate, and an ultimate, again, does 200% damage, bonus damage if there's less enemies remaining, and if he kills someone, he will go to the next lowest health. So let's try it on the boss and see how much damage it does.
The death spiral has begun.
Okay, we're going to have to total that up. And his A1 ability deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants speed up to this character for 1 turn. Alright, the damage test is done. I've tallied all of the data. Let's look at the sheet and see how those two units compare to some of the other units in the game. So, Nathalia versus Zatlux. I had a feeling that Nathalia was going to be a lot better than Zatlux for single target. But it's pretty wild because Nathalia is basically the only one on this list so far who has basically all consistent AoE damage. So even though she did 10,200 on average, which is pretty average compared to the rest of these units. Obviously, Orak's an outlier because he does damage based on max HP. But yeah, so that shows how strong Nathalia is because she can deal AoE damage if you get some buffs on her when she starts her turn. So very awesome unit. That is why she's S tier. And Zatlux is SS tier on my tier list. Even with this fairly low damage single target, but just because of his wave clear capabilities. Both Zatlux and Nathalia are great wave clearers, so this was kind of a fun little comparison to do here. Yeah, so that's it for the video. I just wanted to show you the damage. I wanted to get these guys added to the list. I think, so Ciara, I'm waiting on. I need another copy of Sierra because I don't have her first ascension. So once I get that, I will add her to the sheet. Everyone on this list has at least 1 ascension, so that's making that rough. Otherwise, I think I will try Antinua and Jacob next. I need to get them up to level 60 first, but I have already worked on their glyphs, so that will probably be the next damage comparison video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. These videos take a lot of work to make, so if you enjoy it, go down there, smash that like button, and sub to the channel if you're not already. There's a huge percentage of people watching my videos, like 75%, that are not subscribed to the channel. It really helps me out if you could hit that button, so thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed the comparison, and have a great day, everyone. See you guys.